Whoa, what's going on, people? This your boy SportsTalkQue, and today I want to break down and grade the New Orleans Saints 2022 draft class. So I'm gonna get straight to it. In the first round, the black and gold had two picks at 16 and 19. I'm guessing they heard some chatter that there was going to be a lot of movement with the wide receivers, so they didn't want to take a chance and potentially lose out on a guy. So they traded up to pick number 11 to get who they really wanted, Chris Olave, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Now, Olave, he's been widely considered to be linked to the Saints since late February, so it came as no surprise to many people that that's who we ended up with. And I, for one, am really glad that we got who we did. So Chris Olave, I feel like, is a perfect complement to Michael Thomas being the number one receiver in our offense. And I feel like it takes a little bit of pressure off of him. And aside from that, I feel like Olave is a great route runner. He has really, really sure hands. And aside from that, once he does have the ball in his hands, he's hard to bring down, and he's a touchdown machine. He knows how to find the end zone, whether it's from the opposing team's 40-yard line or whether it's a 5-yard go route in the red zone. He just knows how to find the end zone once the ball is in his hand. Aside from all that, he's also a speedster, so, he doesn't have, breakaway speed, but he's fast enough to where he could take the top off of defense, and I feel like over the past year or so, that's something the Saints have really lacked in their offense is that over-the-top threat, and I think he could bring that to our offense. So all things considered, I feel like Chris Olave was a great addition to our offense. Of course, y'all know there's been an infatuation with Ohio State players for the Saints for the past, I would say nearly 20 years or so, dating back to 2004, with them picking Will Smith and, again, picking Malcolm Jenkins and Michael Thomas, who I alluded to earlier. But and even last year with Pete Werner, it's a lot of Ohio State players that find their way to New Orleans, and Chris Olave is no different. And I feel like that production train is going to continue with the Ohio State to New Orleans Saints pipeline. So I'm really excited about that. So with the second pick in the first round, the Saints decided to stay pat at pick number 19, and they addressed a huge, huge, huge need at left tackle with selecting Trevor Penning, the left tackle out of Northern Iowa. So if y'all follow my tweets, y'all will know going into the draft, I wasn't really crazy about Trevor Penning, but all things considered, with us having that big hole with Teron Armstead leaving and just with left tackle being one of the primary positions in the NFL today, I like the pick. Now, I feel like he could be a bit of a project, but I like his mean streak. That's a start, and I like his aggressiveness and how he's willing to, bully opposing defenders. I think my main concern is him coming from a small school and adjusting to the speed of the NFL, because I don't think he's consistently faced talent of that caliber, playing at a small school like Northern Iowa. But he had a pretty decent, Senior Bowl week, and the footage I've seen looks pretty good. So I'm hoping that the Saints could refine his skills and turn him into a perennial Pro Bowl caliber type player. And if not, we can always move Ryan Ramczyk over from right tackle to left tackle and kind of plug that hole. But I think he's going to work out there. So those are the Saints' two first-round picks. So in the second round, they decided to go defense. They picked Alontae Taylor, a cornerback out of Tennessee. Now, a lot of people, not a lot, but a few people feel like the Saints kind of reached for that pick. I, for one, feel like they kind of sort of did just a tad bit, but when you turn the film on and you look at his highlights, you can easily see why they fell in love with his tape. He has really good ball skills for a defender. He could cover the X receiver, wide receiver, slot guy. He could pretty much cover anywhere on the field. He has really good hands. I like his eyes as a defender. I like how he's always watching the quarterback and while also keeping his eye on the receiver as to like not let him get too far ahead. And he has really good ball skills, and he has quite a few interceptions that have been returned for touchdowns in his college career. And aside from that, I feel like he's a really sound tackler, and he's not afraid to get out there and hit. And there are not many cornerbacks in the NFL that play like that, so I feel like that could be an added bonus for him, and that could help him make this team. So, of course, our DB room is really already crowded, but I feel like with him being the second-round pick, they're invested in Taylor, so I pretty much think he's a shoo-in to make this team, and you get him in here with guys like Marshawn Lattimore and Mark and Roby and Tyrann Mathieu and some of those other guys like C.J. Garner-Johnson. He soaks up all that knowledge, and he can only get better. And I think he could, and also Paul Debo. I think he could be, a future cornerstone of this franchise. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I like what I see thus far from him. So after that, the next pick, I believe in the fourth round, if I'm not mistaken, was DeMarco Jackson, a linebacker out of Appalachian State. And again, I really, really like this pick for two reasons. For one, you addressing depth because it almost is almost a foregone conclusion that Quan Alexander won't be back with the Saints next season, which is unfortunate. But you replace that body with somebody who's a capable, sound tackler. You're talking about a guy who was the defensive player of the year in his entire conference as a senior in college, and he just always around the ball. So guys like that, you love to have on your team who are always around the ball and in position to make plays, whether that be just to stop tackles, short of the first down marker or the goal line, or if they're in position to make a strip or interception and pass coverage. Those are just guys that those type of players are not really a dime a dozen, but more so they don't grow on trees. So I feel like with the right development in our defensive scheme, I feel like he could be a really good player. So I like that pick as well. So the last pick in the draft came in the sixth round, and that was Jordan Jackson, a defensive tackle out of Air Force, for which I feel like that's more or less kind of a camp body. I feel like we have pretty good depth on the defensive line, but I wouldn't say he's a long shot to make the team, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make the final 53-man roster. That being said, I like his size, I like his speed for the position he plays, and I like how he plays the run, and he also gets quite a bit of coverage sacks. Those are the type of sacks when the quarterback is scrambling, trying to find these extra couple of seconds to find an open receiver when he's jammed up. And guys like Jordan Jackson come in the last minute and get those coverage sacks. So that's what I like him for. So now that we have all the draft picks out the way, I want to address two undrafted free agents that I really think have a really good shot at making this team and making an impact. And the first one is Smoke Monday, the safety out of Auburn, who's an Atlanta, Georgia native. And, back in his Auburn days, I really liked his aggressive style of play. I liked how he played so close to the line of scrimmage. I would liken him to, not as far as, playmaking ability, but just his style of play. I would liken him to a Tyrann Mathieu with more height and more weight on him. I really like the way he plays at the line of scrimmage. He's not afraid to hit. He's a hard hitter. He will lay the wood on you if need be, and that's what he looks to do playing at the line of scrimmage. And not only that, he also has some pretty good ball skills to say he's a safety. He has quite a few interceptions in his college career, and I also think he has value in the special team. So don't sleep on that. He has a couple of block punts in his college career, and he has made an impact in that area. So I feel like he could be a special teams ace if nothing else for the Saints. But I fully expect him to make an impact on our defense. Not immediately because our defensive back room is already loaded. So I liken him to Alontae Taylor with just getting them with those veteran guys and soaking up a whole bunch of knowledge and just getting better with time and just slowly developing. But I really like that pickup. And the other guy I really like is Dai'Jean Dixon, the wide receiver out of Nickel State. And I think he was overlooked coming from a small school, but I feel like he has a prototypical NFL body. Any ball that's in his vicinity, he catches. He doesn't have many drops in his college career, and he has really sure hands. And I just feel like he could come in and pass up some of the guys we already have on the roster, like a Lil Jordan Humphrey or even a Traquan Smith. And I think he could make this roster as the last receiver. So those are the two guys that we didn't draft or signed as free agents that I would really look to make this team and make an impact in different areas. So overall, I would give this Saints draft a B minus. I don't want to get too high, but I really feel like they did a good job at addressing a lot of needs, and I feel like they've extended their championship window, and I wouldn't be surprised if they made a deep postseason run. So with that being said, I'm about to sign out, get out of here. Until next time, y'all. Peace.